Hi and welcome. A number of teachers have asked me to say a little something about some of the influences, the teachers who have particularly influenced my way of teaching and development. And I'd love to let you know a little bit more about particularly one teacher, Emilie Conrad, who died last year, but who had a very deep influence on me. And I'm going to particularly speak from, so I have a video that I want to show you with Emilie speaking, but I'm holding this little tensegrity structure because this global way of thinking about my whole body in relationship to my nature outside surrounding me, and the nature that surrounds the earth, cosmic to planetary to personal nature, really deepened for me in working with Emilie. From a perspective of fluid resonance, how cellularly and within the body. See, this is from a tensegrity place. This is the bones, the more compressive structures being supported by the soft tissue, the blood, the muscles, the internal organs. So it's like the bones are floating in a sea of connective tissue. You have this feeling of fluid resonance. You know, in Pilates, we talk about flowing motion and flow. And to consider that Joseph Pilates had a vision of flowing motion, but also we don't often speak about what his influences were. So many influences that he had that helped him to build a body of work that he called Contrology. And what were those influences? So it's very important to keep noticing that Joseph Pilates wasn't born teaching Pilates. He grew himself out of his observations, out of his studies, and that was over years and years and years of self-study and self-observation. What you'll notice in looking at the video with Emilie Conrad is that she's speaking very specifically about how we develop that understanding of fluid resonance and what baseline is. What is it to really rest down? What is it to nourish ourselves and to establish an integrity, a deepening awareness of where we move from? And one of her teachers that I worked with many, many years ago, her name was Barbara Mendel, and she had been paralyzed in a car accident before she met Emilie. And then in working with Emilie around this concept of fluid resonance and being able to move through trauma, the most held trauma of being paralyzed, to actually come out of that is astounding. But for me to work with Barbara and see the process of her beginning to move her toes and sharing that was extraordinary. But it happened out of this awareness and this ability to this willingness to back up and begin to look at sound, breath, hydrating, pulse, how the body moves in a pulse and a vibration, and how breath is part of that attunement that we come in contact with. As Emilie would say, we don't do movement, we are movement. So moving medicine is really the way that Emilie speaks of continuum work, and it's a huge contribution to Pilates. It's one of those bodies of work that teaches us so much about sensing. So I introduce you to Emilie Conrad. Enjoy. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.